jewel of masquerade, which lies waiting safe inside me for you or eternity.
Welcome back, everybody. We have just finished The Secret of Psalm 46. You can now see that the moon is now covering up the sun, and so thus we were able to finish the puzzle here. This is actually kind of a devious one, because unless you're really paying attention here, you won't notice that the color changes to the point where you're actually allowed to do this, which is pretty clever. I actually think you get a little bit of leeway there, because the image of the moon stays for a little while, which is nice, because you have to wait like an hour for that to happen. So I kept the game running off screen while that played and talked to a friend over the phone, so I wasn't completely bored. But now we're done with that, and now we can exit back out here to the town area. And I think right now what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to the boat, which we actually conveniently have a dock right here, and I'm going to use the boat to trace a path to that, because we were able to do one earlier from the starting area, which ended around where this dock is, but there's actually one more. This feels like a place to hide a recording, but I don't know if there actually is one. I have decided, by the way, when I go back through all the stuff and pick up what I missed, I have decided to go pick up the recordings that I missed, because I do want to be a completionist for this game, since I'm doing everything already. So, what I'm going to do is I'm going to go through one final pass of the island and try to pick up everything that we missed along the way. So I'm going to start here with the boat. I think, if I'm not mistaken, this is the final stretch of stuff that we need to do with the boat, because we started with this side earlier in the game. Actually, I think we started... Did we start here, or did we start over in the cemetery area and then backtracked? I think we backtracked over here. So I'm going to do... What I'm going to do is I'm going to go out here first, and then I'm going to go there. I don't know if that's sufficient enough, or if I actually have to do something a little more involved. But I'm inclined to think that we have to start out there, because this isn't connected as it stands now. So let's go ahead and do that, and then... Uh-oh, that buoy is out there. I didn't think about that. Okay, the buoy is going to be a problem. Let's do this. Let's go around and then go there. And then there's one puzzle that we have to do on the way back, and you may have noticed the setup for it. It's actually that freight train container that had the triangle puzzle inside. You'll notice that it forms the shape of one of the environmental puzzles, but we actually need to be on a moving platform like this in order to actually complete it. So that's going to be a little tricky, but not too bad. Okay, this is a little better. At least we can go around the buoy this time. Okay, so now we can do that. Okay, that's what we need to do. Alright, I'm going to back up enough that we have enough leeway to make this work. Now let's go in. Let's do that. Okay, I do happen to know that some of the audio logs, the recordings, require you to be on the boat to get them, which we're going to have to work that out once we cross that bridge, but it's overall not too bad to make that work. Ah! Wasn't expecting the camera to be a pain like that. Okay. Hopefully we're not too late here. I don't think, by the way, that you can actually get to the reflection version of this down there. Yeah, I don't know. I think we were a little late. Yep, okay. Let's go backward and do that again. And this time I'll look out this side instead of the left side. That almost looks like it should be a path, but that's not. It almost looks like a guy spreading his legs and about to do some martial arts or something. I never noticed that before. That's pretty cool. Okay, yeah, I think we have to be at least one step ahead of that. I think this is far enough. Let's turn around and give it a shot here. Okay, let's be on this side because it's about to turn. No, not there. The setup for this is a little weird. There we go. As long as you start it, it's not too bad. You just have to make sure you start it. Okay, what is going on here? I know you have to be on the boat to make this work. Okay. Can we please get to the end? This is where we were before, wasn't it? Okay. Maybe you have to be really far behind to make this happen. Let's speed up the process of backtracking. I don't remember this being this hard, but actually no, come to think of it, I do remember this being this hard. This was kind of a bit difficult. Maybe we have to do it the other way around. Maybe we have to be on the boat as it's leaving. Could it be? Maybe? Because the end of it kind of looks like it's breaking up a little. Yeah, it's not. Okay, let's backtrack from here. And this time, I'm going to slow it down to a speed of 2 just to make sure we don't miss anything. So yeah, my plan for now is I'm going to go through the island starting from the beginning again and just make one more pass through all this stuff, picking up any environmental puzzles, any audio logs, any triangle puzzles that we may have missed. I think we've missed only one, if I'm not mistaken, and I know where it is. I'm going to wrap up the town, by the way, first, because I know we still got a few things left to do there. So I'm not going to leave here quite yet, but either at the beginning of the next video or end of this video, I'm going to start my run through the island one last time. Come on. Come on. We can do this. You know what? I didn't think about this, but I wonder if you actually have to do this from farther away. Like, I'm wondering if you actually have to do this from the alternate route. But I don't think so, though, because you have to be in here close enough to get the start of it correct, right? So I don't think you have to do that, because I don't think you can actually see this as a brown circle from outside. The key is just making that last bit at the end work. You know what you might have to do? I just thought of something. You might have to actually... Oh, I just thought of it. You may have to actually backtrack from here, because it did work when we were backtracking it at first. But then take the outer route to the left before you do anything else. In fact, that might be the only way to do it, because I think from this point we were on schedule to complete it. So tell you what, why don't we do that? Because I think we were... Yeah, there's no way that's going to close up in here. There's no way we're going to see the brown. So let's just stand here. I mean, we can get past that first part there, but that last part is not quite as certain. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go out this way, but then I'm going to go this way and go toward the symmetry area. And just to be on the safe side, I'm going to take it at normal speed. But I'm going to start it from here, and then hopefully by going out, that way we can actually get a... There we go. We can actually make this work. Thankfully, our character turns around automatically, even though he doesn't move while this is going on. He makes sure to orient himself such that this is visible, which is nice. Okay, good. Yeah, because you do have to be outside this far. But unlike the other solution, we're not going to go jut out to the right toward that other area. We're going to keep going this way. I just have to make sure I don't backtrack. That's the one concern I've got here, is that if I backtrack, the whole thing might be lost. Okay, this tree is now getting in the way. No! So that's not the solution, then. Huh, okay. Fascinating. Maybe you have to come in this way? Let's see if we can at least get it to work. I'll put it on fast mode just to see how this happens here. I don't think we can start it from this far out, can we? Yeah. Because the buoy's also there, and the buoy was the problem that we had before, right? Wait a minute. Okay, there we go. I was going to say, why are we going out that far? But I guess the route on the map does do that. Yeah, I don't think this is very workable from here. Not with that buoy in the way. Huh. That almost looks like the brown does get filled in there. I'm just not seeing a point where the beginning is brown unless you go out there. So maybe what you have to do, let's try this. Maybe what you have to do is you have to avoid the dock here. And you have to keep holding it until you're past the dock while you're here, and then you should be able to get it. Because then at that point the buoy is pretty much of no consequence, because you're already past it. Let's give that a shot. If that doesn't work, I don't know what will work. Alright, so this should be good enough, right? Alright, let's go all the way out to Symmetry area. We're gonna get it, somehow. Okay. This is doable. Okay, it's gonna go toward the dock. Oh wait, does this get covered up by the... No, it doesn't. Okay, I think that's intentional so that we can actually finish it. So at this point, this should be closing up here, right? There! I don't think the reflection counts as one either, so let's backtrack, because I think we should be done with all this boat stuff until we get the audio logs at least. Okay, let's go back to the town and wrap things up. And we'll also look at the obelisk, because we haven't even looked at this obelisk yet. Is there any audio log stuff around here? This feels like a good place to put one. Maybe behind one of these thingies. Nope. Okay. They're really hard to spot in some places. Okay, I think the obelisk is here. Yep. Accessible down through this area. Okay. Yep, that looks like that's the only one there. These are on the roof of the building, the tower, weren't they? So there's a second one that we need to use. And I was wondering about that too. These are the things that come from the hole in the ground that looks into the windmill. So it looks like there's a third one, since this zigzags quite a bit. And then there's something else, and I think I know what that is. Oh, I know what this stuff's all about. We'll get to that. Okay, so we actually didn't miss too much with the town obelisk. Not like the monastery one. Alright, let's go and take care of this tower stuff here first. And I'm not sure what we have to line up, but I'm guessing it has to do with this. So I'm seeing that. Yep, okay. Question is, how do we get this to work? There? There we go. Okay, that's what we missed. Okay, the other thing, we haven't touched this yet, but up here, this machine that we used... Wait, is it up here? It's somewhere in this area. Oh, it's up there. The device that we used to direct the laser into the mountain has another purpose, actually. And it has to do with that... Where is it? That cloud over there. And as it turns out, that cloud is part of a formation of clouds that you can use to get an environmental puzzle, but not while that's gray. You have to make it white. So I believe it's one off of the laser solution. Let's see, I think it's maybe this one. Come on, get in there. There. Let's see if this works. Nope. Let's do another one. Come on, there. There we go. How you're supposed to figure that out, I don't know. I have no idea how the game expects you to do that, but yeah, that is the solution. I guess, I mean, if you were out of options, you could kind of piece that together, but still, it is a little mean. Okay, so I think the area from which you have to view the clouds is actually way over here, if I remember correctly. We actually almost saw it earlier while we were walking around this area, and I was trying not to make it too obvious. But if you back up far enough, I believe you can put all these together and they'll form the formation that you need. There we go. Close anyway. That may be a little... No, we do need to back up more. There. No. There we go. I do like the idea of using the clouds for the puzzle as well as the negative space for the clouds in the other puzzle. One thing I didn't point out about that when we did it was it actually is possible, and while we're actually out here, I'm going to try to do the windmill stuff. It actually is possible to get there at such a point that you have to wait about, I think, 12 minutes before the clouds are in the right position. We just happen to be there at the right time, which was really fortunate. But it is on a timed cycle, so you have to just be mindful of it. Alright, the windmill. So this windmill has some interesting features, and the one that's interesting to note first is that there are actually some different endpoints here that you can use, as well as different bridges that you can use to get to the other blades. And you might remember that on the desert obelisk there were 3 different solutions on there. One of them involved a 90-degree arc, another one involved a 180-degree arc, and another one involved a 270-degree arc. I believe that's the 90-degree one. But basically, the rule of thumb for the windmill is that you do have to make a path that leads to all, from the first blade to all of the other blades. And the tricky thing about this is that you cannot overlap where you go. And this is something that I completely missed when I first played the game, and I actually had to experiment for quite a while before I actually got this. So it's a really tricky setup, but once you get it, it's actually not so bad. I think what you have to remember with this is, let's see, the second one only has 1 entry and exit point, which is there. So I want to say that this is actually sufficient. Oh, we missed it! Whoops. Well, let's try it anyway. I don't think this will work, but let me just see if it does. You can get in, but because of this, we cannot actually use this area again, which is a little bit problematic. We actually have to go all the way around and then go to that other section down on the left side of the mill. So it's a really interesting exercise in plotting out a route. So we just have to wait for another rotation here. So the key thing is that we just have to remember to go counterclockwise, or no, I'm sorry, clockwise in terms of the order of the blades that we're trying to get to, which is a little bit odd because the windmill is going counterclockwise. So it's an interesting setup. Now this next one, I think as long as we just go here toward the bottom, we'll be okay. This one's a curious one because we have to... There's only one entry point, which is a fascinating setup, and I think what you have to keep in mind with this one is that the broken part of the blade allows you to skip this one if you want to go for the fourth one. So, as long as you remember that, you should be okay. So I think what we'll do is we'll go all the way down... Oh, no, actually we can't do that. We have to start with this, go to the second, because the second blade is not broken. So I think we have to go with the route we took. That's the only way to really do it. So I think we did do it properly last time. We did do the right thing. So as long as we exit on the left, we should be okay. Okay. So here we go, we make the first transition, which is over there. The main pain point of this is that you do have to make that lap all the way around each time you do the third and the second and third environmental puzzles, essentially. But this is certainly a very clever setup. It's not like anything we've really seen in the game before. So I do like it on that level. And we'll just wait for the blade to come around. The one thing that was kind of painful, aside from not knowing that you couldn't overlap yourself, was that I didn't realize that for the longest time, like I mentioned earlier, that you didn't actually need to hold the mouse button down. Which I didn't know until I was forced to do the Secret of Psalm 46 thing. Alright. Let's go skip to this here. Always exit on the left so you don't get caught by the blade. Okay. So then we'll just hide down here while the broken blade moves past us. I think that'll be sufficient. Because there's only one way in and one way out of the third blade. We can't actually get in and then out without overlapping ourselves. So, good, it worked. Alright, then the last blade, we should just be able to enter in through the middle, and all should be well. Very clever puzzle setup. Alright, so that should be all for this area. So I think I'm going to go ahead and just start going back through the island. There's really nothing else to do around here. At least it's not that I know of. So let me go back to the castle here. Oh, there's that yellow one. We can get to it all the way from here. This almost looks like an animal. It sort of reminds me of the wooden eye puzzles from Riven. The wooden eye puzzles, you know, those... That's kind of a lot of what this game seems to be inspired by, is that kind of perspective-based thing. I didn't even think of that comparison until just now. Alright, there's a couple of puzzles I know I missed in here. There's 3 environmental puzzles, actually, but we're going to save one for later. For reasons that will become obvious then. So let's see. First of all, how many puzzles, like normal puzzles, do we have left? We've only got 5. Okay. I'm wondering if one of them is the alternate solution to the third to last, or no, fourth to last mountain thing in the mountain. Okay, one of the environmental puzzles is in here. There. That was one of the ones on the town obelisk. And then the other one was actually here at the very beginning, where we started way back when, back in the day. Right here, the opening hallway. It's interesting to note that this kind of dichotomy between the industrialized pipe and the rocks here echoes what we see later on in the mountain. Not to mention that we can actually see the mountain directly in front of us when we get out. So the game does give you a good idea of what your objective is, which is pretty cool. Alright, I'm going to climb up to the top because I know there's a couple of audio logs there that we missed. I do have a list in front of me of audio log stuff. I don't have a puzzle list necessarily, but I may get that out later on if we really get stumped. One of them, no, it's not here. I think one of them is over this way. The key, the thing that we're going to really have to search for are those 5 hidden puzzles that we haven't solved yet. I'm kind of a little nervous about that. There's an audio log right there.
Through many births, I have wandered on and on, searching for, but never finding, the builder of this house.
Was that it? No attribution? I guess that's it. Okay. There's another one that's perched right there. And I think if you find this early enough, this is kind of one of the game's ways of telling you that you can actually get stuff, or activate stuff without actually touching it like you would in real life.
I am standing on the threshold about to enter a room. It is a complicated business. In the first place, I must shove against an atmosphere pressing with a force of 14 pounds on every square inch of
Come to think of it, this could also count as that as well.
Landing on a plank, traveling at 20 miles a second around the sun, a fraction of a second too early or too late, the plank would be miles away. I must do this whilst hanging from a round planet head outward into space and with a wind of ether blowing at no one knows how many miles a second through every interstice of my body. The plank has no solidity of substance. To step on it is like stepping on a swarm of flies. Shall I not slip through? No. If I make the venture, one of the flies hits me and gives me a boost up again. I fall again and am knocked upwards by another fly, and so on. I may hope that the net result will be that I remain about steady, but if, unfortunately, I should slip through the floor or be boosted too violently up to the ceiling, the occurrence would be not a violation of the laws of nature, but a rare coincidence. These are some of the minor difficulties. I ought really to look at the problem four-dimensionally as concerning the intersection of my world line with that of the plank. Then again, it is necessary to determine in which direction the entropy of the world is increasing in order to make sure that my passage of the threshold is an entrance, not an exit. Verily, it is easier for a camel to pass through the eye of a needle than for a scientific man to pass through a door. And whether the door be barn door or church door, it might be wiser that he should consent to be an ordinary man and walk in, rather than wait till all the difficulties involved in a really scientific ingress are resolved. Arthur Eddington, 1927.
Well, that's a very interesting explanation of walking, I guess. Alright, let's activate this one. You know that you haven't done them yet when they're not flashing green, like we saw with the one on the roof area over there.
Of all the communities available to us, there's not one I would want to devote myself to, except for the Society of True Searchers, which has very few living members at any time. Albert Einstein, 1924.
We heard about Einstein mentioned in one of the behind-the-scenes recordings that we found inside the cavern. I think there's one somewhere here, although I don't remember where. Is it here? I feel like this would be a good place to hide one, but I don't think there's one here, actually. I think it's around this tent area, though. I just have to find it. Not there. So these are the puzzles, the actual puzzles you solve. But maybe back here? I've got a list of where they're generally located, I just don't have the exact spots. Unless it's by this thing, which is possible. Alright, let me see if I can find a little more info about this before going on. Okay. I'm getting a little bit of a sense of what this structure is that's hiding this. And it looks metallic, and it has legs. And it's in this area. It's before this glass factory type building there. Unless it's like right next to it. That's entirely possible, I suppose. But no, it looks like it's near where the more grassy stuff is. So not quite in there, but maybe here. The color palette of the screenshot I'm looking at looks like this. I just don't know what part of this actually houses the recording. I don't think it's that, because it looks a lot more structured. Oh, wait. It's probably over here. Because it references the orchard, and I think the orchard is this, right? Isn't this the orchard? I mean, it looks like an orchard. It's got apples. This one looks like it would be tough to find. Not to mention that we haven't been here in a while. Is there one in here? I wouldn't be surprised, but we'll visit that later. I don't think the color palette matches this area. And it's before the glass factory, not necessarily the symmetry area, so I'm assuming that means this part here, right? This metal stuff almost matches it, but I'm not really seeing something that's shaped like... Well, it's basically looking like a long box kind of structure, like this. Oh wait, maybe it's this. Hang on. There it is, right there. That is really well hidden.
The physicist Wolfgang Pauli once spoke of two limiting conceptions, both of which have been extraordinarily fruitful in the history of human thought, although no genuine reality corresponds to them. At one extreme is the idea of an objective world, pursuing its regular course in space and time, independently of any kind of
nice. We got this.
This has been the guiding image of modern science. And the other extreme is the idea of a subject, mystically experiencing the unity of the world and no longer confronted by an object or by any objective world. This has been the guiding image of Asian mysticism. Our thinking moves somewhere in the middle, between these two limiting conceptions. We should maintain the tension resulting from these two opposites. Werner Heisenberg, 1974.
Heisenberg. Alright, so let's see. I think the next one we're supposed to find is... No, it's not here. It's on another one. It's on one of these. I think it's this one. Yes, right here. Not there. No, come on. I want to click on that. Ah! Stop it. There we go.
Formerly, you appeared to me, O Lord, as invisible, by every creature because you are a hidden, infinite God. Infinity, however, is incomprehensible by every means of comprehending. Later, you appear to me as visible by all. For a thing exists only as you see it, and it would not actually exist unless it saw you. For your vision confers being, since your vision is your essence. Thus, my God, you are equally invisible and visible. As you are invisible, as the creature is, which exists only insofar as the creature sees you, you are visible. You, therefore, my invisible God, are seen by all, and in all sight you are seen by everyone who sees. You who are invisible, who are both absolute from everything visible and infinitely super-exalted, are seen in every visible thing and in every act of vision. Therefore, I must leap across this wall of invisible vision to where you are to be found. But this wall is both everything and nothing. For you, who confront as if you were both all things and nothing at all, dwell inside that high wall which no natural ability can scale by its own power. Nicholas of Cusa, 1453.
It's an interesting quote. Invisible vision. I like that.
One nature, perfect and pervading, circulates in all natures. One reality, all-comprehensive, contains within itself all realities.
Oh, you know what? Hang on.
One moon reflects itself wherever there is a sheet of water, and all the moons and the waters are embraced within the one moon. The absolute of all the Buddhas enters into my own being. My own being is found in union with theirs. The inner light is beyond praise and blame. Like space, it knows no boundaries. Yet it is even here, within us, ever retaining its serenity and fullness. It is only when you hunt for it that you lose it. You cannot take hold of it, but equally you cannot get rid of it. And while you can do neither, it goes on, its own way. You remain silent, and it speaks. You speak, and it is done. The great gate of charity is wide open, with no obstacles before it. Yongcha Tashi, circa 700.
One thing I didn't know about earlier when I did this puzzle, and I wanted to point this out so everyone knows how this works, is that this, I believe, can only be solved as long as that particular pedestal is up in the air. And you may be wondering, well, how do I control that? Well, I didn't realize this because I actually did it by complete accident both times I played through the game here. But I found this out through a video recently, that the opening entrance puzzle that was used to slide this door to the glass factory, you can actually access it from back here. And as it turns out, there are exactly 8 different ways to solve it. And each way you solve it, you'll notice it makes a noise, and that corresponds with one of these platforms. So you'll notice that this particular one lifted this one up, and now this one's down, whereas previously it was facing upwards. So, or it was lifted upwards. So I think if you were to go up this way, now I don't think this would actually be solvable, or at least if it were solvable, it wouldn't be very easily solvable. Let's take a look. Yeah, because now there's a gap, and I don't think you can make that gap, you can close the gap from here, yeah. So it's a very fascinating way to force that puzzle to be solved that way, unless you're like me and you happen to guess it the first time around, which would be an interesting thing to solve without realizing how you solve it. Okay, so I'm going to go... Let's see. I think it's off toward the beach, actually. There's a recording there. We've done everything here in the desert, so that's kind of nice. At least we, except for this one recording. I didn't realize that we had completed the obelisk here. I'm trying to remember what that other puzzle was that we were wondering about earlier that somehow we completed. Okay, is it out here? This feels like a good place to hide something. It's on one of these things, I'm pretty sure. Come on, get down there. Oh wait, I think it's that, actually. Let's try over here. Is it over here? It ought to be over here. It's in the shade somewhere, according to what I'm looking at. And it's near some environmental puzzles, which would correlate with the two that we solved here. I always have some fond memories of this place, because this is one of the first areas I really delved into. I know a lot of people don't like this area, but I personally do. I think it's really neat. Can we get up there? We can. Oh, here we go. It's right here. It's an interesting hiding spot.
I maintain that the cosmic religious feeling is the strongest and noblest motive for scientific research. Only those who realize the immense efforts and, above all, the devotion without which pioneer work in theoretical science cannot be achieved are able to grasp the strength of the emotion out of which alone such work, remote as it is from the immediate realities of life, can issue.
Excuse me.
What a deep conviction of the rationality of the universe, and what a yearning to understand, were it but a feeble reflection of the mind revealed in this world, Kepler and Newton must have had to enable them to spend years of solitary labor in disentangling the principles of celestial mechanics. Those whose acquaintance with scientific research is derived chiefly from its practical results easily develop a completely false notion of the mentality of the men who, surrounded by a skeptical world, have shown the way to kindred spirits scattered wide through the world and through the centuries. Only one who has devoted his life to similar ends can have a vivid realization of what has inspired these men and given them the strength to remain true to their purpose.
Oh, wait a minute. Hang on.
Countless failures. It is cosmic religious feeling that gives a man such strength. A contemporary has said, not unjustly, that in this materialistic age of ours, the serious scientific workers are the only profoundly religious people.
There it is.
Albert Einstein, 1930.
So, there's actually something, before I do that, there's something really interesting here in this area that I didn't point out before. And that is, if you're standing down here, you can see these branches in the shape of eyes, which is pretty neat. There's a lot of really neat perspective things like that. I'm not going to show you all of them, but there's some really neat ones in this game.
What is divine in man is elusive and impalpable.
Wait a second. Just make sure I didn't miss anything.
To embody it in a concrete form, a church, a country, a social system, a leader, so that he may realize it with less effort and serve it with more profit. Yet, the attempt to externalize the kingdom of heaven in a temporal shape must end in disaster. It cannot be created by charters or constitutions, nor established by arms. Those who seek for it alone will reach it together, and those who seek it in company will perish by themselves. Hugh Kingsman, 1944.
I couldn't remember if I had done those before, so I wanted to make sure I did do them. And, okay, they didn't contribute to the overall puzzle count, but... Oh, wait, there is one environmental puzzle around here that we missed, and I do happen to know generally where it is. It's this circle right here, actually. This was the one that we were desperately looking for earlier, and I couldn't remember where it was. So let's make our way back up top, because I think that's where we have to actually look at this from. And I think after that we'll end the video here, because we got a lot done today, so I'm feeling pretty proud of that. Oh right, it's at the bottom that we go to the top. I keep forgetting about that. Earlier I was trying to find a way in there from up top, and now I'm trying to find my way up top from in there. Okay, is it on the roof? Let me see. It looks like that would work. Not quite, though. Maybe here? There we go. Nicely positioned. I mean, it looks really inconspicuous over here, but if you're from that angle, I mean, it's kind of hard to miss it. Even though we did. Alright, so I think I'm just going to go ahead and stop there for now. And then next time we'll continue on our run back through of the world. And yeah, I think we're going to go ahead and just cap it off here. So once again, this has been JB. I'm just going to check the obelisk here. Yes, this one's been completed as well. Good deal. So that's 4 obelisks done. So I think the beginning of the next episode is mainly going to be the audio logs, since we found the all the stuff for the treehouse obelisk. So it's really only the river and the town obelisk. Oh, and the monastery obelisk. So yeah, 3. We got desert, we got quarry, and we got treehouse. Cool beans. Alright, so we'll go ahead and stop there for now, and next time we will continue on with the forest, boathouse, castle, tree, Ewok village, whatever place. So until then, guys, thanks so much for watching. Hope you guys enjoyed yourselves today. If you did, don't forget to hit that like button, subscribe if you haven't already, and ring that little bell so you can get notified of the next episode. But until next time, this has been JB, and I will catch you on the flip side.